That's the core business that we offer. We have cloud, data, backup, things of that nature, which I'm going to go into. Point 2 is very important. We are the only data center company in the United States that has direct connect to Amazon, Azure, and Google Cloud. It may not sound like much right now, but it's kind of important because by having those direct connects, you're able to either offload or go into our data centers and still access those 3 giants at no charge, or we do not charge for cross connects. There is an egress fee coming out of Azure. Microsoft, Google, and AWS do not have those fees. Again, may not sound like a lot, but when you start looking at egress fees and cross connects, you could be talking in the neighborhood of $200 to $500 a month additional fees on top of a monthly regular bill. Most importantly, we are global customers in multiple industries. I've already had the conversation with a few people today about Phoenix being in our name. Yeah, we were founded in Phoenix. Our world-class data center, our main data center is in Phoenix, but we're a global company, and you're going to see that in a second too. Mentions on there that we have over 500 employees. We're actually approaching 600 employees. So we're not that small a company, and these are global employees. We have we have an international headquarters in Europe. So we do cover the globe, and you'll see that again shortly. This is important, and this is where we sometimes becomes a little, I don't want to use the word difficult, but it becomes a little convoluted when we say we're a consultative approach. And we actually have some cases going on right now with TCG in this environment. We don't sell, our competitors like to put things in a box. And the way we describe it is you're buying t-shirts, small, medium, large, what size do you want? There you go, off and running, here's what you pay. We're not going to do that, okay? We have no box that we work within. Sometimes that appears to be annoying, but what's happening is that we want to look and see what's best for the company, and we're going to design a solution that fits their needs and their expenditures and what they want to spend. So when you look at it from that respect, I think that's a good thing. Our engineers are going to get involved, my sales team's going to get involved, and they're going to work with you. You can be as involved or not involved as you want. Even though there's services in our name, realistically, the services we provide are the data center services. We don't provide any other services. We want to leave that to you. So when you're hearing this, be thinking that we want to be that missing piece of the puzzle for what you potentially are already doing. We are compliance focused. You'll see that again in a second. And as it was mentioned with AT&T, we are a representative vendor for DRAS, Disaster Recovery as a Service, with Gartner. So there are some partner differentiators, okay? And this is, again, everybody stands up and everybody will say, you know, we do this, we do this, we do this, and listen, everybody does a really good job at what they do. I've been in this industry a long time. There truly are some differentiators here that I think can be very beneficial to almost everybody in this room. I mentioned the customization, the high-touch consultative approach, compliance, scalable. You're going to see in a second, when I talk scalable, I'm not kidding. It's scalable and it's scalable quick. Customers, I put this up simply because I want you to know we don't really fall into any vertical. Okay, we're cloud data center. Common sense says we're going to be horizontal. So we don't really focus on any one vertical. We work in a horizontal marketplace. And you can see the normal ones up there. Question came up earlier about FedRAMP. We are not FedRAMP for the federal government, but we are AZRAMP, which I believe right now has 18 states that have created their own FedRAMP for the states, and we are in that and we have been approved. That's a long process. We are working towards FedRAMP if anyone does any federal government work. Okay, here's where I'm going to go into a little bit about how I can help you now. So, 3 basic pillars. You've got your data center, your cloud, and your bare metal. I'm not going to go into describing these. I think everybody here probably knows what they are. But we look at it a little differently. Our solution portfolio. So when you talk co-location, listen, there are a lot of co-location companies out there. We all do a very good job. Not going to spend a lot of time on that. We can do what the other guys can do. We have private cages, all the pieces that are necessary, but do not forget the AWS, Google, and Azure Cloud Connect. Okay, that's, again, vitally important. Under our dedicated servers, bare metal. Most data center companies will offer bare metal. It's just what it sounds like. It's bare metal in their data center. We can do that. We take it a couple of steps further, which you're going to see. We offer flex servers, and all of our servers are Intel and Supermicro based. So we're not going out and buying white boxes and putting them in our data center and saying, here, we're building a data center. It's all top of the line. And it's important to mention that Intel is a strategic partner of phoenixNAP. We sit on their advisory board, and they sit on our advisory board. Those flex servers that are up there, at least as of the time I put this together, we're the only company offering those right now, and that's Intel's new product. So we have those in our data center, and they are readily available. And then we offer hardware as a service, which again, I'm not going to go into because most everybody should know what that is. The middle section there, which is our bare metal cloud, there's a differentiator, and that's what I want to spend most of the time talking about, because easiest way to describe it in easy terms is it's a competitive product to Amazon, Azure, and Google. And I'm using them as an example. There's Equinix Metal, IBM has a cloud that does that. I think Oracle has one that's bare metal cloud. So for talking purposes, I'm going to use the big three. So what I want you to look at this is, it's a competitive product, but there are some major, major differences. Number one, our uptime. We're going to write uptime into our SLAs at least 5 nines of availability. In most cases, it's going to be 100%. Think about it, everybody that was in Amazon, but they go down twice, I think, last year. That's not going to happen with us. Second piece is, it's a cloud with no hypervisor. And I'm as far from technical as they come, so I'm just going to leave it at that. There's no hypervisor, which allows your clients to work with APIs and people that have development work and people that actually use that type of stuff. This is a great environment. We released this in the 4th quarter of last year. You would not believe how fast it is moving, because you can actually go to our website right now at phoenixNAP.com and build a bare metal server by the hour, by the month, by the year, however you want to do it. It's literally minutes. And I'm not exaggerating there. You can go in there, you can spin up a server, whatever size you want, in minutes, and just as important, you can spin it back down and get rid of it in minutes. Pricing is out there, which then, if you're thinking the way I'm thinking here, it creates a little bit of an issue, because everybody in here is probably working on commissions and referral fees. Another big differentiator, we do pay commission on everything that we sell there. So even if you look at the breakdown when you're talking about the hourly, monthly, we're going to pay that on a 90-day look back, because there's no way to do it up front. So if they sign a contract yearly, however many years, obviously that's just paid on a monthly basis, because you're paying on a monthly basis. If they do it, if your customers want to do it by the hour, by the day, we're still going to pay. It's just going to be a backwards pay. We're going to redo it at the end of 90 days. And keep going. That's going to come back to that though. Back up in DR, we work with Veeam. We work with VMware, we work with Zerto. So we have all 3 of them available to us. Veeam and VMware are probably our number 1 and 2, just because for a lot of multiple reasons. For those that don't know Zerto is it offers a real-time replication product. I like when people come to me, they want disaster recovery, and you start the conversation with them, and the first words out of their mouth are, well, I want to make sure that I can go real-time, and if I have a disaster, I need to be up immediately. So let's think about this a second. If you're talking disaster, building burns down, your data center, floods. You have other things to worry about. 10, 15 minutes is probably not going to make a big difference, and you can save a lot of money by going to Veeam or VMware. There are businesses out there that must have real time and be live. We do offer the Zerto as an option. And in our cloud solutions, we have many flavors of cloud. So, and I'm just going to touch on them because it's probably too much to go into. But we have a virtual private data center, our data security cloud, and I want to mention that we have object storage. And for those that don't know what that is, it's a slower, less expensive storage. So be thinking about this. You have customers that are out there in Amazon today. You're probably not getting paid on that, and if you are, you're making very little on that, and you're missing that opportunity. If those customers wanted to come to us, you could slowly move them. And by the way, we are not under any circumstances telling you to tell your customers drop what they're doing and come. That's not the smartest move. There are applications and areas of their business that can probably turn to us, save them a lot of money, at the same time give them uptime. And by having those free cross connects, they can just back up right into our data center at no egress fees. That's a big, big difference. And if anyone hasn't looked into it yet, and you do, it'll make more sense. Okay, actually you can't see this. I can't even see it. So the highlight here is just tell you, what it's talking about is on the far left, it's traditional premises IT. So think about it. The way business started, everybody had a data center either in their closet, they had their own data center. Something was going on where they had a data center in there. That was the way the transition worked. It then went to co-location. It then went to hosting. It then went to infrastructure as a service, which, by the way, there's a line there that you probably can't see. That's where we end. We do not do any of the stuff to the right, which is platform as a service or software as a service. We are not going to touch that area. And there's a reason for that. I kind of joked a little bit about the services piece. If we're going to provide services, we actually have to go in and be able to get to the data. You're going to see we are completely compliance focused. In order to remain compliance focused, we can't touch your data. I cannot keep my HIPAA certification and go in and play with your data. That's how we keep our HIPAA certification for our data centers. And for anyone that works in the healthcare marketplace, we will sign the BAAs. You'll know what that is if you're in that marketplace. We will sign those for the data center. Again, that's a differentiator for us. Okay, business continuity. This is the question that you should be asking your customers right from the get-go. For those customers out there that are still thinking about cloud, haven't gone yet, not sure about it, is it safe, is it not safe? This is the way you start. Ask them about their DR plan. Make that the very first question. What are you doing for DR? That starts the question, that starts the conversation going. You'll hear all kinds of strange answers. A lot of them will say, well, I back up every day. Great, where are your backups? Well, in the drawer right there. Not a great idea, okay? So when you start the conversation going, you can see where that can go. That's an easy way to get them into the cloud, just do their disaster recovery or their backup into our cloud. You're talking hundreds of months instead of tens of thousands of dollars a month. It's a very easy way to get your customers started going to the cloud journey. And then they will see with things like AT&T mentioned, you've got all the protections in there. It's safe. I mean, it's as safe as being in their own data center. As long as they're plugged into the internet, we're all going to have the same risks. Obviously, we've put the protections in place. Again, I highlight Veeam, Zerto, VMware. I put on here that this means 1 out of every 2 conversations can mean an opportunity. We're not kidding about that. If you talk to your customers about DR, you will be unbelievably surprised how easy it is to get them to at least try. I mean, it's an insurance policy. None of us probably like having to pay insurance. I don't either, but I know I need it, and I have it. So this is a great way to start the cloud conversation, and then think about it. What they've just done is, it's made your client a little stickier to you as well. So now they're involved with you. Now they've seen that you can help move them to the next level, take their journey into the cloud, and you're off and running. This is where a consultative approach that we offer can help you, because we're going to talk to you about what the journey is supposed to look like. We're not going to tell them, hey, you need to get all the way to the final point right now. We're ready, we want to sign the contract. That's just not the way we operate. We are very big into starting small and letting it grow. And by the way, when you start looking at numbers, because we're all in the same industry, so I know that's got to be going through your head, is when I talk about the cost savings. This is not an exaggeration, okay? We're going to be upwards of 50% less than what they currently pay in Amazon, Azure, and Google. All right, and I've seen cases as high as 70. Some of them, every now and then, will go down in the 40s. Nothing less than that. And it all comes down to if they, number one, understand their bill, which I know you need an advanced degree sometimes to be able to figure out what they're putting in there, and the egress charges, none with us, and then bandwidth. The bandwidth is phenomenally expensive, and it adds up as you keep going. These are all things that we're going to save your customers on, and then please don't lose sight of the fact that we're going to give you the uptime where you're not going to have to worry about them going down. Great example, quick little side note. So we have a customer, a very large customer in Ukraine. Okay, obviously we all know what's going on over there. They're very concerned about their data center, as are we. What do? As soon as conflict broke out over there, we worked with them, and they are completely replicated in our Amsterdam location right now. So they're safe. They know if the building goes away, they can keep their business going. And by the way, their business is primarily in this country. So it's important that they keep live. That's the kind of thing, yes, we dropped what we were doing and we helped them, but that's the kind of, obviously on a much smaller scale, you can do that with everybody out there. There are small businesses and medium businesses out there today that don't think they can go in this route. And part of that's been because of the way the industry grew fast and explained how you have to do this. My competitors, I worked for them, so I know what they do out there. Most of them have minimum monthly recurring revenue targets. They won't talk to you for less than about $1,000 a month. We don't have those minimums. I would love to work with you on those smaller customers because I know they're going to grow. We're willing to do it. So I don't want any level customer. Please, bring it to TCG and let them come to us. So what's in it for you? This is the bottom line, obviously. More opportunity. So, I pulled out the word traditional because traditional, it's not traditional anymore. So if you look at where the industry and where everything is going, I know when everybody had data centers, then they went away, then they sort of came back a little bit. You have that flexibility here with us, okay? We are, like I said, we're global. I will stick a map up there in a second so you can see. It gives you higher margins, okay? And recurring margins. Once people go into the cloud, we find that as long as they're happy and as long as we can keep that cloud up where it belongs, they're not going to go anywhere. It's just not, it just doesn't make sense. It's too much work involved. And if it's working and it's cost reasonable, why would you change? And that's one of our promises. The again, I know you can't read this, but the world-class engineering team, listen, we want them to be an extension of your team. Use them. They're there. We pay these people to be engineers for you. They want to act and represent your business and show them that you know what you're talking about by working with a company like phoenixNAP. Opportunity-based deal registration. We are going to register the deals, and we're going to make sure that they go to you, so that if you bring a deal to me and some very large customer comes to us and says, hey, we want to work with this now, it's protected, it's in our CRM, you guys are protected, easily done. No minimums. I put it up there again. That's huge. There are no minimums, so we do not have to worry about any kind of minimum deal size. And then it's a stickier consultative sale. Again, it may not sound like a lot, but that stickier thing is important for you as you're growing your business. There's the footprint. I know, again, you can't see the names, but Phoenix obviously is our, I don't know what Phoenix is called. Phoenix is our flagship data center, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about that. So we have, don't quote me on the numbers here, but it's over 200,000 square feet of data center in Phoenix right now. We are actually increasing that by a large amount because, like a lot of businesses, we had a whole level in there that was dedicated to our employees. We've gone to a work from home model. It's a data center building, let's put data center in there. So we're in the process right now of retrofitting that, which is going to add a very large percentage of data center space to Phoenix. And across the street and down a little ways, we just bought property, and this year we broke ground on another major data center. And so again, these are in Phoenix. We have a big data centers also in Amsterdam, Ashburn, Virginia. We have one in Atlanta, Chicago, Singapore, and Belgrade, Serbia. So that's where our physical locations are. The rest are going to be POPs, so they're point of presence. All right, and that's where the NAP comes from in the name. Important to note, in Phoenix, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but we also house Google. So Google Cloud is actually in our data center in Phoenix. So here I am telling you that you can shift away from them, but at the same token, they're a customer of ours. So it's a cooperation thing there. But just know that even though in order to get Google and in order to get Azure to come in with Direct Connect, Microsoft looked at 50 or 60 data centers in that area and evaluated where they wanted to go for their Direct Connects and stuff, and they chose us. So I'm just mentioning all this so you can see that it's because like I said, most people aren't aware of who we are. It's a big area, it's a big center. We have very reputable customers in there. Our technology partners, listen, we work with the best of the best out there. I'm not going to go through the group there, but the one I want to highlight is Intel, and again, because Intel, there's a lot to be said about being on their advisory board and being able to have them on our advisory board and know where they're going. Intel's Intel. It's a great relationship. It gives us a heads up in the industry. Companies, I'm not going to go through all these, but a couple of here that are important. So Make-A-Wish. Everybody knows what Make-A-Wish is. So we run their data center. Their business is all run through our cloud. So if you go to Make-A-Wish, you're actually talking to phoenixNAP. University of Southern California, we've done a lot with them. I don't know if you can see that. Most of the companies up there, you've probably heard of them. So, who do you want to target? Who do you want to go to? Because you don't want to go to everybody, okay? So at some point you will, but let's see where you want to start. So first, clients who need to scale easily. Think about those clients who have ebbs and tides in their business. Those are great customers for the cloud if they're not in the cloud already, because think about what they have to do. They have to prepare for the worst case scenario, which means if they, whatever they need, that's what they have to build. If you're in the cloud, you can, and half your year's down here and the other half of your year's up here, pay half for the lower part of your business. And then when you need to ramp it, ramp it. When you need to take it down, take it down. All of that is available to you when you're working with a company like ours. Clients need to set up a highly secure infrastructure. Again, we are HIPAA compliant. In fact, you'll see that in the second slide here coming up, but all the compliances are going to be listed up there. It's vitally important. Heck, if you have businesses, a lot of venture capital money is going around right now. Many venture capital companies are going out there and saying, listen, you need to have a DR plan for your data center if we're going to invest money in you. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. There's a lot of reasons to go back and look for people who need highly secure infrastructure. Clients who require compliance. Again, I was in my own doctor recently, and I went in and I asked him where his data center was. Well, it was in a closet. I asked him, how do you follow HIPAA requirements? He didn't even know what they were, okay? So again, every one of our data centers is HIPAA compliant. You move into our data center with any aspect of your business and you're meeting HIPAA compliancy rules for the data center. And then clients the clients who always like to be on the cutting edge, so they want to be on the front edge of things, what a greater way to come into a company like ours, because let's face it, it's a cloud, but we all know it's actually someone's hardware in another data center. We have to upgrade. So we keep the latest and the greatest. So therefore your customers get the latest and the greatest. So they're always getting the best speeds. They're always getting the best of everything out there. When are we the right solution? Okay, so business continuity, disaster recovery. Okay, do I need it? Any better? Better? Thank you. So, business continuity, disaster recovery as a service. I feel like I should break into song. Consultative high-touch experience. Again, we're going to be high-touch. I'm going to tell you that up front. Please know we'll work within your guidelines, but we are going to be high-touch. My engineers are going to ask questions that you probably are not going to get asked by any other competitors that you go to. Important to note. There's the compliance regulations. So you can see HIPAA, PCI, SOC 123, ISO 27001. Some of those may not mean anything to you, some of them will. Bottom line is we are compliance focused, and that is across the board. Every one of the data centers you go into meet those requirements. So how are we going to help you build your business? We put on there, it's an upsell opportunity for at least half your customers. I think that number is probably, it could go much higher than that, okay? I have to believe that at least half your customers out there right now would be willing and want to talk specifically about the DR subject, okay? And it's really interesting because we start the conversation with DR, it always goes somewhere else. And that's why we want to bring our engineers in, because again, we're not just selling t-shirts. I don't want you to just buy a small or medium or large. I want to see what's their journey. Where do they ultimately want to go? How is the best way to set up to get there? So, DR may be step one. Maybe DR is not the step. Maybe they need to take one of their applications and put it out into the cloud. There are a multitude of ways to take this. That's why we're going to have our engineers involved from the get-go. Tailor-made solutions. Not a lot of my competitors out there are going to say that. Okay, they want you to fit in that box. Just please remember, I have no box to work within. And you're going to extend more value to your clients. So if you've thought about many of the things I've said here, There are companies out there that will do a lot of all the individual pieces that I mentioned, and they do a great job. We're probably going to be one of the few that will go across the board and do all of those things for you and your customer. So again, it makes it a little easier to work with. Peter Mayer is our Director of Channels. Okay, he's up in New Jersey. I reside in Florida, so I'm down here. I have the Southeast United States. TCG knows us well. We've been working with Chris. You know, you can go right to them. They'll come to us. Questions? Anything? Something I said had to resonate with somebody. Yes, sir.
You might want to touch on your international presence.
Yep.
Some of the other players when we go domestic in terms of PR.
So from what standpoint?
You were your involved with our opportunity with Eric Judge.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So that standpoint in terms of that client that we need to come to you guys because, for example, Scott Needham, who we use as well, couldn't do the backups overseas.
Right.
Which you could.
So that's a good point. So the international presence is, as I said, it's all over the map. But I think where we're going with that, and what's important to note, and I didn't bring it up, was this is one giant network. So we are one giant network. Everything you see there is connected by WAN. We use Megaport, by the way, for those of you that know Megaport. So you can go from any place on this map to any place on this map with backup DR at will. So the local presence is primarily for businesses that feel they need that local presence, or they have to stay in country or in continent, things of that nature. By being one giant network, we can back up and we can transfer things anywhere inside our network. So we're here in South Florida. I know you've got phenomenal data centers here. I worked for one of them here right down the street. So I know that they're here. All right, great. Where's your backup? Where's your DR? If there is nothing set up right now, great way to start. Let's go put your backup in DR in Phoenix, in Atlanta, in Ashburn, Virginia, wherever you may need it. You know, latency is just not an issue anymore. Yeah.
The point to that also was they had an office internationally. They didn't want it for compliance and security or whatever to back it up in the state that had to be backed up outside.
Right. So what was said was that compliancy reasons they wanted to back up in country, right?
Or no, for that office out of country.
Okay.
Not here, where all our other offices.
Got it. So for geographic purposes, actually that was national distances there. All of that can be happening. It's just, I don't even bring it up because it's so commonplace for us right now. And like I said, the Ukraine example was a great example. Everything is now in Amsterdam. Okay. I think, if we wanted to, I know, we could actually replicate that into Phoenix, into Atlanta, wherever we need to replicate it into. So for customers, so again, for all of your customers that have international locations, most of them are going to like the fact that we're overseas. I mean, we have international headquarters in Serbia. So, as a matter of fact, my marketing team is in Serbia, most of them. So we work in Europe a lot. You know, and I know I have to emphasize that because we're phoenixNAP. So yes, Phoenix is our home. Phoenix is where our flagship data center is, but we are a global presence. Anything else? All right, I'm gonna let you have lunch, and thank you very much for the opportunity, guys. Appreciate it.